Let me share with you a question which tests your knowledge of Excel formulas. Teacher attempts to determine lowest and highest points students received across multiple classes. Select the correct function and syntax to help teacher accomplish this objective based on the Excel data presented. You're presented with Excel snippet with the data for physics, math, chemistry, and biology classes. And you also have 4 different choices to choose from. Choice A, using max and min formulas. Choice B, using max grade and min grade formulas. Choice C, using max and min formulas again. And choice D, using the exact formula. Do you think you know the answer? Give yourself 10 to 15 seconds, as you typically would do on the test, to see if you can come up with the right answer. Did you figure out the solution? Let's continue to see how we can solve and get to the correct solution together. Let's jump into Microsoft Excel to see how we can solve this challenge. You are presented with the data, which has values for multiple classes. The best way to accomplish the objective is to use min and max formulas. For lowest points, you can use min formula. There are multiple ways to do it. You can type the min formula. For example, you can say equals min, and Excel gives you a tip of what to use in this formula. You can use the set of values in the column, for example, select values like this, or you can extend it and select it for the entire range. And this is what we're trying to accomplish. I'm going to close the parentheses and hit enter. And it will show us that the lowest points are 34. In very similar way, you can calculate highest points, but I'll show you another way to do it. If you click on the auto sum and then select max, it will pretty much do the same thing. You just need to select the range and hit enter. Let's recap. The correct answer here is choice A, using max and min formulas and selecting a range for those formulas. You can use min and max functions to complete the calculations. Max function returns the largest value in the range of arguments, and min function returns the lowest value. Let's look at other choices and see why they are incorrect. For example, choice B, max grade and min grade functions, they do not exist in Excel. This choice was created to confuse you and test your knowledge of existing functions. In choice C, the syntax of the max function is correct and the syntax of the min function is incorrect, as cell are considered instead of the range. And last but not least, the choice D, exact function, checks whether 2 text strings are the same and return true or false, so this is not the right choice here. Hopefully you've nailed this question and now know how to answer similar problems on the test. Let me share with you an interesting question from the real test. I have full confidence, though, that you might be able to figure out the answer. Here's the question. Manager of the restaurant attempts to calculate the average sales for the week. Select the correct formula to help him achieve this goal. You're presented with the sales data on the left. It shows days and the meals sold. You have data Sunday through Saturday, and you have sales for sausage and eggs, chicken salads, burgers, and sodas. And you have 4 different choices to choose from. Average formula. And inside average, there is a sale formula. Average formula, then average, and inside average, max and min formulas. And last but not least is the choice with the max if formula with the max and min formulas inside. Do you think you know the answer? Give yourself 10 to 15 seconds to see if you can come up with the answer on your own. Did you figure out the solution? Let's continue to see how we can solve and get to the correct solution together. To help managers solve this challenge, we would need to use the average formula. To do this, let's type the formula, and as you start typing, you will see that the syntax helper in Excel will help you automatically determine what are the right parameters for this particular formula. For example, in our case, we would need to select the entire range from B2 to E8 and then close the parentheses. This will calculate the average in this range. A lot of times in the real test, you may also be required to calculate averages for particular categories. For example, to calculate the averages for sausage and egg, you can use AutoSum function, and average is part of this function. And Excel will help you automatically pre-select it, and once you hit enter, it will calculate the average for sausage and eggs. You can also calculate the average for a particular day of the week. If you put your cursor in the cell F2 and do the same thing by inserting average, Excel will pre-populate the values for all the products for Sunday. I just need to hit enter to finalize the calculations. Let's recap. The correct answer here is choice B, where we use average formula and populate it with the range. The syntax for average is where you can use average and then the range. And please reread the question carefully, as a variety of different averages may need to be calculated. Now let's look at other choices to see why they are incorrect. Choice A, sale is an invalid function in Excel. Choice C is also invalid because it returns the average of extreme values in array. And choice D, where max if function is selected, is an invalid function in Excel, and comma should be used instead of the colon. Hopefully you've nailed this question and now know how to answer similar problems in the test. But in case you need more questions or practice problems, please check out the description of this video for more information. Here's the question for you to try to solve on your own. I have full confidence that you can solve this challenge. Which formula should be used to highlight the cells in total sale column that have value less than the value in cell B2? And you have 4 different choices. Please pause this video if you need to. Look at the data on the left to see if you come up with the right answer. And if you have figured out the answer, please make sure to post it in the comment section of this video so I can give you my feedback. I'm also planning to post a detailed answer in my future videos, so make sure to subscribe and review my latest videos on the topic to learn about the answer and how to come up with the answers to similar questions on the test. Thanks for participating and good luck! Here's the question you might see on the test, which validates your knowledge of the application. Counselor Smith is attempting to generate the list of students from P1 class assigned to her for counseling. Select the most effective way to do it in Microsoft Excel. You're presented with the snippet of data on the left. The data contains full names of the students, class ID in column B, and then counselor's last name in column C. And there are 4 different choices to choose from. Use formula Vlookup with the particular syntax. Choice B, apply filter in column B, then select checkbox containing text P1. Choice C, filter by P1 in column B and by Smith in column C using a quick filter. And then choice D, use formula select with the particular syntax. Give yourself 10 to 15 seconds to see if you can come up with the right answer. Did you figure out the solution? Let's continue to see how we can solve this challenge and get to the correct solution together. To solve this challenge in Excel, you need to use quick filter. As you can see, because of these icons, quick filter was already applied. To select Counselor Smith students, we need to select P1 in column B and then select counselor's last name in column C. Let's recap. The correct choice here is choice C, filter by P1 in column B and by Smith in column C using quick filter. Columns B and C needed to be filtered using a quick filter to accomplish the objective. Now let's look at why other choices are incorrect. For choice A, Vlookup formula only returns 1 value. Choice B is incorrect because not enough information is supplied in the filter to select the correct values. And choice D is incorrect because select formula doesn't exist in Microsoft Excel. Hopefully you've nailed this question and now know how to answer similar problems on the test. Some of you might find this question tricky, but regardless of whether you can figure out the solution on your own, you will be excited to learn the answer to this real-life assessment test question. Select the formula to help store owner calculate the total quantity of all different products sold between 2017 and 2020. You're presented with the snippet of data from Excel, which shows sales for 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020 in correspondent columns B through E. And you have 4 different choices to choose from. Choice A, calculate formula with populated parameters. Choice B, sum formula. Choice C, another version of sum formula. And choice D, sum total formula. Do you think you know the answer? Now might be a good time to pause this video to see if you can come up with the solution on your own. Did you figure out the answer? Let's continue to see how we can solve this challenge together. To solve this challenge, we need to calculate the total number of items sold in the range of B3 through E11. To do that, we need to put the cursor where the final total will be calculated. And the easiest way to do it will be to use AutoSum function on the home ribbon in Excel. We select the sum formula and then select the range for which we're trying to add the sum formula. Once you hit enter, you will see the total number of items that have been sold between 2017 and 2020. Let's recap. The correct choice here is answer C. We use sum formula and we select the range from B3 to E11. Sum function adds all the numbers in the range of cells to help calculate total quantity. Now let's look at why other choices are incorrect. For example, choice A has a calculate function which doesn't exist in Microsoft Excel. Choice B includes the row for the years and returns inaccurate results. Because if you look closely, choice B's range starts with B2, which would include 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020, which would exaggerate the numbers. And choice D uses SumTotal function, which also doesn't exist in Excel. Hopefully you've nailed this question and now know how to answer similar problems in the test. And now here's the question for you to try. I have full confidence that you can solve this challenge from the real test. Bookseller attempts to calculate the total sales of Lord of the Ring title in Los Angeles. Which of the following functions should be used to complete the task? And you have 4 different choices. Choice A, find function. Choice B, SUMIFS function. Choice C, SUMIF function. Or choice D, COUNTIF function. Do you think you know the answer? Now might be a good time to pause this video to look at the data on the left and see if you can come up with the solution. And if you came up with the solution, please make sure to post it in the comment section of this video so I can give you my feedback. I'm also planning to post a detailed answer in my future videos, so make sure to subscribe and check out my latest releases. Thanks for participating and good luck solving this challenge. Let's look at the interesting question, which tests your knowledge of Excel formulas. Jane is trying to determine how many units have been sold based on a transaction ID. She only remembers the transaction ID contained the value of 30LS somewhere in the field. Which of the following formulas should be used in cell D3 to return the number of units sold based on the data available? It seems like Jane typed this value that she remembered into the cell D2, and she looks at the data that has in column A transaction ID as well as in column B number of units sold. And there are 4 choices presented here. Choice A, HLOOKUP. Choice B, using index formula with certain parameters. Choice C, using Vlookup formula with certain set of parameters. And then choice D, using the match formula. Give yourself 10 to 15 seconds to see if you can come up with the answer. Possibly pause this video to see if you can get to the correct answer. Did you figure out the solution? Let's continue to see how we can solve this challenge and get to the correct solution together. What kind of Excel test question would be without Vlookup formula? This formula was very popular in the past and also keeps to be very popular nowadays and used very frequently for the businesses as well as in the tests. The correct answer here is to use Vlookup formula. What Vlookup does, it selects the range. In our case, the range would be from the A2 to B14. That's the range where we need to do a search. And here in this range, we would need to find the value that Jane remembered. So remember that Jane typed this value in the cell D2, so that's why we're referencing this value. We can as well just type the value itself into this Vlookup set of parameters, but instead we're doing concatenation of wildcard in the beginning of the value that she remembered, as well as the adding the wildcard at the end of the value that she remembered. Second parameters is the range where we're searching, and then there are 2 other parameters in Vlookup function. 2 represents the index from which we will retrieve the value. So column A in this case has index value of 1, and column B will have the index value of 2. So we are retrieving the value 3256, that's the value we're looking for. So definitely this value will be in the column represented by index value of 2. And false value represents the exact match. If we would put true, we would go with approximate match. And another tricky part of this question is that even though she does not remember the full value of the ID and remembers only partial value that contained in the transaction ID, it still represents the exact match because he remembers 30LS and this is an exact match with wildcards. That's another way how Vlookup formula could be used to get you to the correct value. Let's recap. Every time you do Excel test, most likely you will get a Vlookup question. This is one of these types of questions. So the correct choice here is choice C. We use Vlookup formula and we concatenate wildcards on the both sides of the value that Jane remembered. Then we supply the range in which the search should be done, as well as the argument which determines exact match or approximate match. This is the syntax of Vlookup. And now let's look at other choices and why they are incorrect. So for choice A, HLOOKUP is used to look up values horizontally, and we're looking up values vertically. For choice B, index can be used in combination with match, but not independently to accomplish what we're trying to accomplish. As well as choice D, match can be used in combination with index, but not independently. So hopefully you've nailed this question and now know how to answer similar problems on the test. But in case you need more questions or practice problems, please make sure to check out resources in the description section of this video. Let me share with you an interesting question which tests your data analysis skills. Nancy is trying to calculate daily average using the weekly sales data. Which of the following formulas will not return the exact daily average, like in cell G8? And you have 4 different choices. Choices A and B use average formula. Choice C divides value of G7 by 5. And choice D uses the sum formula. Please spend 10 to 15 seconds to see if you can come up with the right answer. Did you figure out the solution? Let's continue to see how we can solve and get to the correct solution together. Interesting challenge, isn't it? But the first step in any challenge is to look at the data and to make sure you understand it. So for example, what do we have here? We have products represented in column A. We have apples, grapefruits, lemons, lime, and oranges. We have sales data, for example, for apples, for Monday, for Tuesday, for Wednesday, for Thursday, and for Friday. Then there is a total column, which calculates all the sales from Monday through Friday. Then we also have 2 other values here. The average value calculates the average of totals. And then the daily average divides G7 by 5, which takes the total of all the sales, calculated in G7, and then divides it by 5 days per week, Monday through Friday. Now let's look at the 4 different choices presented in the original question. As you might have figured out, choice B is incorrect. But let's first make sure we understand why choices A, C, and D are correct. So for example, choice A uses the average formula and then selects the range G2 through G6 and then divides it by 5. The range G2 through G6 are the totals, and we divide totals by 5. So that represents the correct value. Choice D is also correct because what choice D does, it sums all the values in the range B2 through F6 and then divides them by 25. And 25 represents 5 by 5, which is the matrix here, and which will calculate the daily average as well. Which leads us to choice B, which is incorrect in this case and should be selected as the answer. Let's recap. I would like to give you a tip. Make sure you spend enough time to review the data. And most of the time, you need to understand what data represents, as well as what is being asked in the question. The correct answer here is choice B, average of the range B2 through F6 divided by 5. And the interesting and tricky part about this answer and the fact that it is correct is exactly the fact that it is incorrect and does not calculate what we're looking for. So, test providers and whoever tests your knowledge, they're not trying to help here. They create tricky questions to make sure you understand what you're answering. So in this case, B2 through F6 is the range of elements to be averaged, and therefore there is no need to divide the result by 5. That's why this answer does not calculate what we need, and that's why it should be selected as the correct answer for this question. You can also find out and refresh your knowledge on the average formula, which accepts multiple parameters, and second parameter and other parameters after second one are optional. And the other choices are incorrect because they calculate exactly what we're looking for. Hopefully you've nailed this question and now know how to answer similar problems on the test. And now here's the question from the real test for you to try to solve on your own. I have full confidence that you can complete the challenge. Manager attempts to combine first and last names of employees into one cell. Which formula manager should use to combine the names as a single value in column C. And you have 4 different choices. Choice A, sum. Choice B, concatenate. Choice C, average. And choice D, concatenate again with the different set of parameters. Take a look at the data snippet on the left and see if you can come up with the answer on your own. Do you see the answer? Please make sure to post it in the comment section of this video so I can give you my feedback. I'm also planning to post the detailed answer in my future videos, so make sure to subscribe to this channel and review my latest videos on the topic to learn about the answer and how to come up with the answers to similar questions on the test. Thanks for participating in this challenge and good luck solving it. Thanks for watching. I encourage you to check out our daily question challenge in the community section of this channel. I also recommend that you check downloads in the description section of this video. Please also check out resources page on our website, howtoanalyzedata.net/resources. If you like the content, please give this video a big thumbs up. This tells us that you need more content like this. I would encourage you to share this video with other people that might be looking for the job. This will help them to get prepared and pass assessment test faster. Please consider subscribing and following this channel. We have a community of great people helping each other to get ready and pass the test. Please leave questions, comments, or suggestions in the comment section of this video. And all the best on your interview and assessment test. Thanks for watching.